Have you ever wondered which video game demon would actually kill you fastest? Today we're ranking the 10 deadliest digital nightmares using real science. We'll measure raw destructive power, analyze dominance patterns, and check historical accuracy against actual demonology. The winner might shock you. It's not the obvious choice, but the math doesn't lie. Let's dive into the science of supernatural lethality. Let's start with number 10. Flores from Silent Hill Origins. This red-skinned nightmare represents psychological warfare made manifest. Raw power scores 6 out of 10. Flores doesn't throw massive energy blasts, but its relentless stalking creates constant psychological pressure that literally rewires your brain's fear response. Studies show sustained psychological warfare can trigger cortisol spikes equivalent to physical torture. The demon's magic attacks generate roughly 50,000 joules of thermal energy, enough to cause third-degree burns across 20% of your body's surface. For dominance, Flores gets 8 out of 10. Its stalking pattern follows optimal predator behavior, cutting off escape routes, maintaining visual contact, never allowing recovery time. This creates a psychological feedback loop where fear compounds exponentially. In epidemiological terms, one encounter with Flores has a 90% chance of creating lasting trauma that spreads to family members and witnesses. Historical fidelity scores 7. Classical demons like Flores were documented as persistent hunters in medieval grimoires. Total weighted score, 6.7 out of 10. Number 9 brings us Baphomet from Agony. Raw power hits 7 out of 10. This multi-limbed monstrosity moves at calculated speeds of 35 miles per hour while coordinating 6 independent appendages. That's biomechanically impossible for any natural creature. The neural processing requirements would need a brain 3 times larger than a human's. Its head-devouring finishing move generates bite forces exceeding 12,000 psi, comparable to a Tyrannosaurus rex, but with surgical precision. Baphomet's dominance scores 6 out of 10. While terrifying in direct combat, it lacks area of effect abilities or corruption mechanics. It's a perfect killing machine, but operates solo. Historical fidelity gets a perfect 10. Baphomet is one of the most accurately depicted demons in gaming, matching descriptions from the Knights Templar trials and occult texts dating back centuries. The goat-human hybrid form, the association with forbidden knowledge, even the multi-limbed depictions appear in authentic historical sources. Weighted total, 7.4 out of 10. At number 8, we have Jackie Estacado hosting the Darkness. This parasitic demon scores 8 for raw power because it amplifies human capabilities exponentially. The Darkness grants Jackie superhuman strength equivalent to lifting 2,000 pounds, plus manifestation abilities that create semi-autonomous killing appendages. Energy calculations suggest each Darkness tentacle operates with 15,000 joules of kinetic force, enough to punch through concrete walls. Dominance gets a terrifying 9 out of 10. The Darkness spreads through the bloodline inheritance with 100% transmission rates. Worse, it actively corrupts the host's decision-making, creating a feedback loop where using its power makes you crave more power. This follows classic addiction neurology. Dopamine pathways get hijacked, creating psychological dependency that spreads across generations. Historical fidelity scores 5. While parasitic demons exist in folklore, the Darkness's specific mechanics are more modern horror than classical demonology. Total score, 7.7 out of 10. Number 7 is Samael from Darksiders, scoring 9 for raw power. Even stripped of his abilities, Samael demonstrates dimensional energy manipulation that requires power outputs comparable to small nuclear reactors. When fully restored, he controls entire regions of hell. That's territorial dominance over areas spanning thousands of square miles. The energy required to maintain dimensional barriers alone would be measured in petajoules. His dominance score is 7 out of 10. Samael operates through manipulation and deals rather than direct corruption, limiting his spread potential. However, his influence over other demons creates multiplicative effects. One corrupted demon lord can command thousands of lesser demons. Historical fidelity hits 10 out of 10. Samael appears in Jewish mysticism, Christian demonology, and Islamic texts as a powerful fallen angel. His portrayal in Darksiders aligns perfectly with traditional accounts of his rebellion and punishment. Weighted score, 8.5 out of 10. At number 6, we have Adria from Diablo 3. Her raw power scores 8. Blood magic operates through actual biochemical manipulation. altering cellular structure at the molecular level. The energy requirements for transmuting human blood into demonic essence would require breaking and reforming chemical bonds, consuming roughly 2 million joules per transformation. That's equivalent to the energy in 15 gallons of gasoline released instantaneously. Her dominance potential hits 9 out of 10. Blood magic spreads through contact and proximity, following infection models similar to hemorrhagic fever. Each victim becomes a potential vector for further corruption, creating exponential growth patterns that could theoretically consume entire populations within weeks. Historical fidelity scores 7. While blood magic appears across cultures, Adria's specific abilities blend historical witchcraft with modern horror elements. Total weighted score, 8.2 out of 10. These 5 demons represent serious threats, but they're nothing compared to what's coming next. The top 5 operate on scales that transcend normal supernatural warfare entirely. Now we're entering apex predator territory where raw power meets strategic dominance. At number 5, Soki, also known as Hideyasu Yuki from Onimusha, represents something terrifying, a reincarnated Oni god walking among mortals. His raw power scores a devastating 9 out of 10. As the literal god of darkness, Soki's energy output transcends normal physics. When he fully embraces his demonic nature, he's channeling divine power that operates on cosmic scales. We're talking about energy levels that could theoretically alter fundamental forces within localized space-time. His horn manifestations alone generate kinetic force equivalent to artillery shells, roughly 150,000 joules per strike. That's enough energy to demolish a 2-story building with direct impact. His armor provides protection that would require materials stronger than any known alloy, yet maintains flexibility that suggests supernatural enhancement of molecular bonds. Soki's dominance gets 7 out of 10. While incredibly powerful, he operates more as a righteous force than spreading corruption. His influence grows through inspiration and fear rather than direct infection. However, his defined status means other demons instinctively submit to his authority. That's multiplicative power through hierarchical dominance. When lesser demons encounter divine energy signatures, their behavioral patterns shift towards submission or flight responses. Historical fidelity hits a perfect 10. Oni gods in Japanese mythology possess exactly these characteristics: divine power corrupted into demonic form, the ability to take human shape, and the eternal struggle between divine purpose and demonic nature. Soki's portrayal matches centuries of folklore perfectly. Total weighted score, 8.9 out of 10. Number 4 brings us face to face with Lucifer himself from Painkiller. His raw power scores 9 out of 10. Still godlike, but not literally cosmic. He remains the fallen angel whose presence warps the battlefield, yet his destructive potential aligns more with tectonic-level devastation than galaxy-breaking force. The physics of his manifestation would still require unimaginable energy, enough to vaporize entire regions, but not the multiple supernova absurdity some legends imply. Lucifer's dominance scores 8 out of 10. His corruption spreads through temptation and rebellion, psychological warfare that turns victims into willing accomplices. But his influence relies on ideology, not infection. In scientific terms, this makes his spread slower and more dependent on human agency. It's dangerous, but not exponentially viral. His historical fidelity scores a flawless 10. The fallen angel archetype, the pride-driven rebellion, and his mythic hierarchy as the Lightbringer all perfectly align with Christian, Jewish, and Islamic demonology. Weighted total, 8.9 out of 10. Lucifer is still the ultimate tempter, but in pure lethality, he falls just short of the technological terror that tops this list. At number 3, we encounter Moondust from Devil May Cry, a demon prince who literally conquered Hell's throne through raw power. His power score hits 10 out of 10. Moondust overthrew the previous ruler of the entire demon realm. That's not just individual strength, that's commanding forces capable of interdimensional warfare. His true form manipulation and energy projection operate on planetary scales. The fact that he required Sparta, a demon so powerful he was worshipped as a god, to defeat him tells you everything about his capabilities. Moondust demonstrates matter manipulation at the atomic level, restructuring his physical form in real time during combat. The energy requirements for such transformations would exceed the output of fusion reactors. His eye beams alone generate focused energy equivalent to industrial laser cutters. capable of slicing through materials with melting points exceeding 3,000 degrees Celsius. Moondust scores 8 for dominance. As Hell's Emperor, he commands every evil entity in existence through direct hierarchical control. His corruption spreads through absolute authority rather than infection. He doesn't need to convert you when he can simply command legions to destroy you. His territorial control encompasses entire dimensional planes, with influence extending across multiple reality layers simultaneously. Historical fidelity gets 8 out of 10. While his specific portrayal blends classical demonology with modern fantasy, the core concept of a demon prince who usurps divine authority appears across multiple mythological traditions. His three-eyed form echoes descriptions from various grimoires, and his role as a corrupted ruler matches accounts of fallen angels who established their own kingdoms in hell. Moondust achieves a weighted score of 9 out of 10, making him one of the most dangerous entities we've analyzed. But here's the thing, even this Demon Emperor doesn't crack our top 2 positions. The next 2 demons represent forces so dangerous that they transcend normal supernatural threats entirely. At number 2, we face Dante from Devil May Cry, the half-demon whose hybrid nature turns biology itself into a weapon. His raw power is a flawless 10 out of 10. In the Fortuna incident, Dante annihilated a dimensional hellgate roughly 200 meters wide. To destroy a structure capable of withstanding interdimensional pressure would demand around 50 megatons of TNT, more energy than the largest nuclear detonation ever recorded. Every swing of his sword channels controlled chaos, translating divine-scale power into pinpoint precision. His dominance scores 9 out of 10. Dante doesn't conquer through fear or infection, he dominates through defiance. When one half-demon can stare down Hell's armies alone, it rewrites the psychological map of humanity's survival. That kind of inspiration is contagious, spreading courage the way corruption spreads dread. Historical fidelity sits at 7 out of 10. Myths of half-demonic offspring, Nephilim, Cambions, or divine hybrids run through every ancient religion, though Dante's modern style blends classical archetypes with cinematic flair. Weighted total, 9.1 out of 10. Dante proves that when humanity and hellfire collide in perfect balance, the result isn't destruction, it's evolution. But at number 1, we have the Cyberdemon from Doom, and the mathematics behind this choice will shock you. Raw power hits maximum 10 out of 10. This isn't just a demon, it's a cybernetically enhanced minotaur with integrated weapon systems. The rocket launcher alone fires projectiles with explosive yields equivalent to military-grade ordnance. Each missile delivers roughly 15 kilograms of high explosive, creating blast zones with lethal radius exceeding 10 meters. Here's what makes the Cyberdemon truly terrifying from a scientific perspective. It combines biological resilience with technological precision. Biological demons can be banished through ritual or holy artifacts. Technological weapons can be disabled through electromagnetic interference or mechanical failure. The Cyberdemon represents a fusion that eliminates traditional weaknesses of both categories. Dominance scores a 10 out of 10. The Cyberdemon doesn't spread through corruption or infection. It spreads through pure terror and overwhelming firepower. Its presence on any battlefield creates immediate area denial effects. Military doctrine suggests that a single Cyberdemon could control territory equivalent to an entire armored division. The psychological impact alone would cause mass evacuation from regions spanning hundreds of square kilometers. Historical fidelity gets 6 out of 10. While minotaurs appear in classical mythology, the cybernetic enhancement is purely modern. The Cyberdemon's weighted total, 9.2 out of 10. Here's why it wins. Every other demon has exploitable weaknesses. The Cyberdemon eliminates these vulnerabilities through technological augmentation while retaining supernatural resilience. The math proves that raw destructive powers trumps corruption when measuring pure lethality. Subscribe for more scientific breakdowns of gaming's most dangerous entities.